लब्बैक या हुसैन, लब्बैक या हुसैन, लब्बैक या हुसैन, लब्बैक या हुसैन। हुसैन मेरा बादशाह, हुसैन मेरा पीर, हुसैन बाज़मीरा दी कौम ज़मीर। हुसैन मेरा बादशाह, हुसैन मेरा पीर, हुसैन बाज़मीरा दी कौम ज़मीर। लब्बैक या हुसैन, लब्बैक या हुसैन।
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाहिल्लज़ी अब्दअल अफ़लाक वल अर्दीन वस्सलातु अला मन कान नबिय्यन व आदम बैनल माइ वत्तीन व अला आलिहि व अस्हाबिहि अजमईन। अम्मा बअदु फ़अऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम। बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। वला तहसबन्नल्लज़ीना क़ुतिलू फ़ी सबीलिल्लाहि अमवात बल अहयाउन इंदा रब्बिहिम युरज़क़ून। आमन्तु बिल्लाहि सदक़ल्लाहु मौलाना अज़ीम व सदक़ रसूलुहुन नबियुल करीम व नहनु अला ज़ालिका लमिनश शाकिरीन व शाहिदीन वल्हम्दुलिल्लाहि रब्बिल आलमीन। बिबरकति इन्नल्लाह व मलाइकतहु युसल्लूना अलन नबी या अय्युहल्लज़ीना आमनू सल्लू अलैहि व सल्लिमू तस्लीमा। अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि अला सय्यिदिना व नबिय्यिना व शफीइना व मौलाना मुहम्मदिन अब्दिका व रसूलिका व सल्लि अलल मुअ्मिनीना वल मुअ्मिनात वल मुस्लिमीना वल मुस्लिमात। Each and every one of you join in. As-salatu was-salamu alayka ya sayyidi ya Rasulullah wa ala alika wa ashabika ya sayyidi ya Habiballah. As-salatu was-salamu alayka ya sayyidi ya Rasulullah wa ala alika wa ashabika ya sayyidi ya rahmatan lil alamin. One more time. As-salatu was-salamu alayka ya sayyidi ya Rasulullah wa ala alika wa ashabika ya sayyidi ya jaddal hasani wal husayn. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. After praising Allah Almighty Jalla wa Ala, Khaliq-e-Kainat, Rabbus Samawati wal Ard, and sending infinite peace and salutations, durood and salawat upon the best of creation, the light of creation, the purpose of creation. Sayyidul Awwalina wal Akhirin, Sayyidul Anbiya wal Mursaleen, Sultan Medina, Noor Sina, Ahmad Mustafa wal Mujtaba, Sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Most honorable and respectable Hazrat Allama Maulana Muhsin Sahib, Imam al-Khatib Masjid Haza, Honorable and respectable Hazrat Allama Maulana Noori Sahib Maddazillahul Ali, Honorable and respectable Hufaz-e Karam, Sadat-e Karam, Ulama-e Karam, Awam-e Ahl Sunnat, elders, brothers, lovable youngsters, sisters who are in attendance. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Man lam yashkurin nasa, lam yashkurillah. Nabi Akram sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, Musnad Ahmad bin Hanbal Sharif ki riwayat, Sayyiduna Nu'man bin Bashir radiyallahu ta'ala anhu is the Ravi, the narrator. Riwayat तवील है लेकिन उसका एक हिस्सा, a part of the narration is that the Prophet ﷺ said that individual, that person who is not grateful to the people, who does not do shukr to the people, will never be able to express his gratitude and shukr to Khaliq-e-Kainat. So I want to begin by first expressing my gratitude to Hazrat Allama Maulana Muhsin Sahib, his team and the intizamiya of this masjid for inviting me on this occasion of the annual Karbala conference here at Jamia Masjid Ghosiyah. Mubarakbad to Hazrat, Alhamdulillah, seems like a very good response from the awam, from the public. Or khas taur Mubarakbad to Hazrat for making sure that this program happens on Yom Ashura. Babarkat din hai, azamat wala din hai. Or no doubt sitting in the masjid, the house of Allah Almighty on this noble and blessed day, inshallah Azza wa Jal will be a zariya, bakshish and najat for us on the day of Qiyamah. Hazrat Allama Maulana Nuri Sahib are in attendance. Ziyarat of them after many years. Bradford Keithley is very close, and they were, to my knowledge, were or still are. Were. Oh, here now. Oh, mashallah. That wasn't in my knowledge. But certainly what was in my knowledge for several years, Hazrat was Imam al-Khatib of the masjid in Keithley, Emily Street Masjid. Markazi Jamia Masjid. And alhamdulillah, when we were youngsters, growing up, we are still young, we would often go to sit in their gatherings, benefit from their ilm or hikmat. And very good to hear, alhamdulillah, they are now serving the community of Bolton here at Jamia Masjid Ghosiyah. Many familiar faces. Some people I have seen after many months, mashallah, Sharif Bhai, a few others as well. Very good to see. Before I continue and turn my attention towards the mawzu, I want to also, mashallah, give Mubarakbad to Hazrat. And this is not to do ta'reef of them or be, do mubalaghat in my words, exaggerate my alfaz. But the work that they have done in the last year or so with the Islamic Studies Qamar series books, which alhamdulillah we have implemented into Makkah Masjid here in Bolton, where we have 250 students studying currently. We have implemented these very same books into Al-Hikam Institute, where bifadlillahi ta'ala wa birahmati rasulillahi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we have 350 students currently studying. Or as Hazrat mentioned, Jamiatul Noor in Ashton, where Maulana Shahbaz is currently serving as Imam al-Khatib, where there are around 140 students. We have also implemented them books there as well. So Kamopesh, around 700 plus students through these three masajids and madrasas are benefiting from the books that Hazrat has written. And I have shown these books to Ghair Sunni people as well. And wo log karano again. Is tarike se alhamdulillah kaam ho raha Ahl Sunnati wal Jamaat. Sadly and unfortunately, for many years we've had a negative stigma attached with people who are in our own Jamaat. People who are not willing to put their heads down and do the work which is necessary. But alhamdulillah, Hazrat has taken that janda and taken that flag and moved this caravan forward. With their team, their son and the rest of their rufaqa and students, shagird. Allah tabarak wa ta'ala dilu dua hai. Allah tabarak wa ta'ala accept their efforts, say ameen. Or Allah tabarak wa ta'ala give them even more tawfiq and himmat to continue to serve the Ahl Sunnah. This is bila ta'rif. Privately I've said this, publicly on this occasion, first time doing bayan in Masjid Haza, I want to say these words as well. Allah Almighty bless each and every one of you. Yom Ashura, in relation to this noble day, just to mention a few points. We know through Imam Ghazali's quite famous and accepted work, Makashafatul Qulub, that this is a very important and significant day in the Islamic calendar. The 10th of Muharram al-Haram. On this particular day, the Tawbah of Adam alayhi salam was accepted by Allah Almighty. Just to give you some tajalliyat. The Tawbah of Sayyiduna Abul Bashar Adam alayhi salam was accepted on this day of the 10th of Muharram al-Haram. Ek riwayat mein hai 500 years. Dusri riwayat mein hai 700 years. But ultimately when he took the name of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Qadi Iyad rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh, right here, balki mentioned the riwayat in the Ashifa bi Ta'rifi Huquq al-Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, page 113. And they take this riwayat from Imam As-Samarqandi, Imam Abu Layth As-Samarqandi, Imam Abu Muhammad Al-Makki, and other ulama, that anna inda ma'siyatihi qala Allahumma bihaqqi Muhammadin ighfir li khati'ati. That, oh Allah, I ask you by the right of Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, sare bolo, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that I ask you by the right of Rasul Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam, forgive me for my error and way. Why he erred, how that was done, we're not going to go into that. No doubt all of the Anbiya and Mursaleen are immune from sin, are protected from sin. ये अपने ज़हन में रखना है. मौजू दूसरे तरफ चला जासी. I don't want to go down that route. And also what I don't want to do is do too much Punjabi. Apart from Uncle Ishfaq, I don't think anybody will understand. All are Gujaratis here, mashallah. And we are from Mirpur. And my Punjabi is very broken. It's like Patwari. Bit of Punjabi, bit of Urdu, some mixed. So I'll try to stick to English as Hazrat has requested. So I do like to be multilingual. But khair. So here, just to give you an insight, Adam alayhi salam made this dua that, oh Allah, by the right of Rasul Akram sallallahu alayhi wasallam, forgive me for my khati'ati, for the mistake that I made. وَيُرْوَى وَتَقَبَّلْ تَوْبَتِي. And then it's narrated that his tawbah was accepted. However, before his tawbah was accepted, a dialogue took place between Khaliq-e-Kainat and Abul Bashar Sayyiduna Adam alayhi salam. من أين عرفت محمدا صلى الله عليه وسلم. Allah Almighty Jalla wa'ala said to Adam alayhi salam that, how do you know of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? इसमें हमारा अकीदा भी है, अकीदा तवस्सुल और अकीदा वसीला, seeking medium and help and assistance through Anbiya and Mursaleen, और खास तौर through Rasul Akram sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. ये रिवायत इमाम हाकिम ने मुस्तदरक में की है. Or this tawbah of Adam alayhi salam on the 10th of Ashura, or Yawm Ashura, the 10th of Muharram al-Haram, was accepted by Allah Almighty at the maqam of Jabr Rahmat. ये भी है ना. और मेरी खुशकिस्मती अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह उलमा इकराम मौजूद. If I make a mistake, they will do my islah. That is their duty or responsibility, not the duty or responsibility of the awam. So if I make a mistake, no doubt they will rectify that. Acha, galo idisi, Jabr Rahmat, Adam alayhi salam makes this dua. Allah Almighty, before accepting this dua, asks Adam alayhi salam that, how do you know of Muhammad? Takhliq Adam has just taken place, or Adam alayhi salam was created between the time of midday and Asr, and ultimately on the day of Friday, between midday and Asr. And Adam alayhi salam to this question replies that رأيت في كل موضع وموضع من الجنة مكتوبا لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Adam alayhi salam said that, I saw in every place in Jannah written لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. दूसरी रिवायत में है, and they do nakal of these riwayat, that رفعت رأسي إلى عرشك فإذا فيه مكتوب لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. That when you created me, O Allah, I raised my head, and when I raised my head, I saw written on the side of the arsh of Allah Almighty, or your arsh, لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. And he goes, Adam alayhi salam, فعلمت أنه ليس أحد أعظم قدرا عندك ممن جعلت اسمك مع اسمي ومع اسمك. He goes, I came to this conclusion that you will only place your name next to that person's name who is the most beloved to you. Subhanallah. You only place your name next to that person's name who is the most beloved to you, and through that person's name, Ismi Muhammad. That name which is the cure to the illnesses of the heart.
Subhanallah.
That name which is the reviver of dead souls.
Subhanallah.
Isme Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It goes through Isme Muhammad. I ask you, oh Allah, forgive me for my way, my error. And then by Adam alayhi salam, using such words, Allah Almighty essentially accepted his tawbah. This all happened on Yawm Ashura. Babarkat din hai. Many more things can be mentioned like this as well. We know that Qawmi Musa, or khas tauр Sayyiduna Musa alayhi salam, they were saved from the oppression and tyranny of Pharaoh on this day of Ashura. When ultimately the river Nile split into two, Qawmi Musa got to the other side, Pharaoh and his lashkar were chasing them, and ultimately through the hukam of Allah Almighty, the river Nile again came together and Pharaoh and his army were drowned. All of this happened on Yawm Ashura. Isi tarike se Sayyiduna Ibrahim alayhi salam was born on the day of Yawm Ashura. And Imam Suyuti in the Al-Itqan fi Ulum al-Quran mentioned that Sayyiduna Ibrahim alayhi salam, who also received this laqab Khalilullah on this day as well, he was born exactly 2,000 years after the Wisal of Adam alayhi salam. Ibrahim alayhi salam. And he lived for 200 years. How many years? 200 years that he lived for. Allah Almighty blessed him with a son, at the age of 99. Zabiullah, Ismail alayhi salam. Or riwayat mein hai that he was 16 years old when he was thrown into the fire. Ek riwayat. Khazain Irfan. 16 years old. And it was on this particular day, Yawm Ashura, that Ibrahim alayhi salam was ultimately saved from the fire as well. Tawil list here, isi tarike se, it's mentioned that Sayyiduna Isa alayhi salam was born on this day as well. In order to understand the greatness of something, or in this case, this particular day, it's important we have knowledge. Knowledge is power. And ilmu nurun, you might say we know these things, but it's good to mention them, especially youngsters who are here. Isi tarike se, Sayyiduna Nuh alayhi salam's ark, Safinatul Nuh. Wैसे Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam compared his Ahlul Bayt. Innama Ahlu Bayti kamathali Safinatin Nuh, or kama qala. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that my Ahlul Bayt, my family, are like the ark of Sayyiduna Nuh alayhi salam. Whosoever boards it will be saved. And whosoever fails to board that ark, here Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is using metaphorical language to make you understand. When you are on an ark, you are ultimately saved. And khas taur Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam uses the example of the ark of Nuh alayhi salam. Riwayat mein hai, Hafiz ibn Kathir mentions that it took them 2 years to build this ark. I mentioned this yesterday at Jummah as well, or the day before at Makkah Masjid. Sayyiduna Nuh alayhi salam, they built this ark over a period of 2 years. Baaz riwayat mein hai 40 saal. And Shaykh Abdul Haq Muhaddis Delvi in the Madarij al-Nubuwah mentioned that Sayyiduna Nuh alayhi salam, asal naam tha Abdul Ghaffar. Nuh was his laqab, his title. Did you know this? The reason why he was given this title Nuh was because he used to cry a lot. Nuh kamana, lamentation, grief. He used to cry a lot. Lived for 1,050 years. And preached the wahdaniyat and tawheed of Allah Almighty for 950 years. Only 80 people accepted his message. 73 from his family. Lekin his son Kannan did not accept his message. Ye nazar? Ye Surah Hud mein sab kuch hai. He built the ark 660 feet long. Again Imam Suyuti in the Al-Itqan mentioned this. 330 feet wide or 30 feet high. And as I was mentioning, Shaykh Abdul Haq Muhaddis Delvi mentioned in the Madarij al-Nubuwah that Sayyiduna Nuh alayhi salam, when he built this ark, he used 124,000 planks of wood. How many? 124,000. All of the sea? 124,000. Acha. Then they write. Mujaddid of his Dawr o Zamana, Shaykh Abdul Haq Muhaddis Delvi. who for 10 years cleaned the inside of the Rawdatul Sharifa with his Lihya Mubarak. Mamuli Shakhsiyat Tanina. And the first person to write a work on Seerah in the Farsi language, Kitab al-Seerah in the Farsi language, Sheikh Abdul Haq Muhaddis Delvi Rahmatullah. Every sanad of hadith in Bari Saghir Hindustan goes through that. Allah. They mentioned this. 124,000 planks of wood. And they write that Sayyiduna Nuh alayhi salam on every plank of wood wrote the name of a prophet. On every plank of wood, in order to keep that ark sturdy. आजकल जो लोग इनकार करें कि कोई वसीला नहीं, कोई इस तरीके का इस्तिगासा नहीं, डायरेक्ट मांगो, डायरेक्ट मांगो. There is no concept of direct. Allah Almighty is not communicating with His makhluk directly. How can makhluk think that they can communicate directly with Allah?
Subhanallah, Subhanallah.
Sayyidina Nuh alayhi salam, his ark. And then, ye bhi linked to the subject matter. Ye to bahut taweel hai. Hazrat only given me till 6:45. Ye to tamheedi guftagu hai. Waqi Karbala to bahut taweel hai. इसी तरीके से फदाइल अहल बैत अतहार, we sit here all night, we will not be able to do justice to that. लेकिन this is linked to the मौजू. क्यों आजकल कोई लोग शरारत भी करने चाहे ना? Oh, Yazid was wrong, no doubt he was. La'natullah alayhi. But people try to then do garbar and say that his father Amir Muawiyah, Sayyiduna Amir Muawiyah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, Jalil Qadr Sahabi Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Katib Wahi, or that individual. Allahu Akbar. Mawzudu taraf, those who are used to me speaking and teaching will know that I like to cross channels. So you have to listen attentively. Ibn Asakir mentions this riwayat in his Tarikh-e-Damishq that Sayyida Aisha or Sayyida Asma bint Siddiqa radiyallahu ta'ala anhum, yani the two daughters of Siddiq Akbar, they both narrate this riwayat from their father Sayyiduna Abu Bakr Siddiq, that Rasul Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam was making tawaf around the Kaaba, and every time he got to Maqam Ibrahim, Sayyiduna Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would make dua that, oh Allah, make haram the fires of Jahannam upon Sayyiduna Amir Muawiyah. Make haram upon Amir Muawiyah the fires of Jahannam, the fires of the hell, the hellfire. So किस तरफ हम जाने जाने हैं? We लोग अपने आप अहले सुन्नत को आने, they could call themselves अहले सुन्नत, but then do गुस्ताखी of the shan of a sahabi of Rasulullah. The qiyas क्या है? What's the qiyas? That son was bad, father must have been bad as well. Ma'adha. But if that is the case, then do the same qiyas upon Sayyidina Nuh alayhi salam. His son was Kannan. Kannan did not accept the message. Al-Batta Nuh alayhi salam made dua for him as well. And what did Allah Almighty say? Laysa min ahlik. He's not from your family. Surah Hud, Surah number 11, verses 44, 45, 46. Go back yourself. Apo khud mutaliya karo. So if a Nabi is still accepted in the court of Allah Almighty despite his son being wrong, then no doubt a Sahabi is also accepted despite his son being wrong as well. On the day of judgment, everyone for himself. So we have to be very careful. We have to be very cautious of what we say. You know, whether we are reading our namaz, fasting in the month of Ramadan, giving our zakat, doing hajj every year and going to umrah, ek gustakhi, ek taraf, all of these ibadat and muamalat in light of sharia, or dusri taraf, one slip and one error, one mistake that we make in trying to belittle and lower the status of a sahabi or a member of the family of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, an tahbata a'malukum wa antum la tash'urun. Your deeds will be wasted and you will not even realize, you will not even understand. This is how important Aqidah is. Allah Akbar wa lillahi alhamd. Isi din mein ek go aur, and then we'll move towards Waqi Karbala. On this day, Yawm Ashura, Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala mentions in the Quran that Sayyiduna Yaqub alayhi salam lost his eyesight. Why did he lose his eyesight? Because his son Yusuf alayhi salam was no longer with him. It's mentioned again by Imam Ghazali that Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam was taken out of the well. Was taken out of the well on this day of Ashura. बाबरकत दिन है. और इसी तरीके से is mentioned the Sayyiduna Yaqub alayhi salam, he who had lost his eyesight regained his eyesight on this day of Yom Ashura. Idhabu bi kamisi haza. Surah Yusuf mein hai na? Surah number 12, verse number Ghaliban 94, 96 mere zehn mein nahi. Definitely there. Waqia to bahut taweel hai na? Waqia Yusuf, who was given nisful jamal, half of beauty, when his father Yaqub alayhi salam lost or thought that he lost his son, he cried profusely such that he lost his eyesight. And then what happened? Waqia Zulaykha, imprisonment, and then became the leader of Misr. Then after all of this, his brothers come to him. Yusuf alayhi salam recognizes his brothers, but his brothers don't recognize him. And ultimately Yusuf alayhi salam says, take my kameez. Ye Quran mein hai, ulama mawjood hai. Take my kameez. आजकल लोग इनकार करने चाह रहे हैं. कोई वसीला नहीं, कोई तवस्सुल नहीं, कोई इस्तिगासा नहीं, और हमारी नौजवान नस्ल को परेशान करने चाह रहे हैं. You know who I'm talking about? All of these things are thabit and established and proven from the Quran. We chapi cheez de nahi na. Allahu Akbar. It's about having that knowledge. Yusuf alayhi salam sends his kameez, his shirt, to his father Yaqub alayhi salam. And ultimately, ye bhi bahut taweel hai, what happened, how he smelled the fragrance of his son's shirt from a distance. But ultimately, Yusuf alayhi salam tells his brothers to give hukam to his father, that tell my father to place this shirt of mine upon his eyes. Ye char pushto anbiya mursalin, 4 generations. Ibrahim alayhi salam, unke bete Ishaq alayhi salam, unke bete Yaqub alayhi salam, unke bete Yusuf alayhi salam. 4 generations of prophets. Musalsal. And if Yaqub alayhi salam wanted, no doubt he could have raised his hands and made dua directly to Allah tabarak wa ta'ala. Ye ho sakna na? No doubt. Anbiya mursalin, their duas are not rejected except if Allah Almighty wishes for something better. And if you're listening, that be an answer to what I've just said. Nuh alayhi salam made dua, Allah Almighty, inni a'lamu ma la ta'lamu. I know that which you do not know. Khair. Yusuf alayhi salam sends his shirt, Yaqub alayhi salam places the shirt on his eyes, and by placing the shirt of his son, who in terms of maqam wa martaba is lower, Baab Thana, Yaqub alayhi salam. In terms of maqam wa martaba, rank and status, Yusuf alayhi salam is lower than his father Yaqub alayhi salam. Lekin ustu bawajud, they placed the shirt of Yusuf upon their eyes, and when they placed that shirt on their eyes, Allah Almighty restores them. इस तरीके से इस्तिगासा बिल-क़ौल, इस्तिगासा बिल-फ़िअल. Istighatha is of 2 types, bil-qawl or bil-fi'l. And here this is an example of bil-fi'l from the Quran. So is par ye tamheedi guftagu, 10, 15, 20 minutes just looking at some of these examples of the greatness of this day of Ashura. What I want to conclude upon before we move forward is that youngsters, whatever happens, never doubt your Aqidah Ahl Sunnati. Subhanallah. If you were listening, I mentioned the example of Adam alayhi salam, how his tawbah was accepted through Ism Muhammad. Subhanallah. If you are listening, I've mentioned the example of Sayyidina Nuh alayhi salam, and how when he built the ark, he used how many planks of wood? 124,000. And khususiyat kya thi? That on every plank of wood he wrote the name of a Nabi. Hawale mein diye na, kissa kahani tani na. It wasn't me coming on the M62 on the way to Bolton. Chalo aaje bayan kar sa. Reference we hai na. Go back, check up yourself. Or is tariqe se we just mentioned now, Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam and his father Yaqub alayhi salam, and that waqia which happens, which Allah Almighty records in Surah Yusuf towards the end. These are 3 very clear examples of the permissibility of seeking help and assistance through Anbiya and Mursaleen. Subhanallah. And if these examples are for Adam alayhi salam, Nuh alayhi salam, or Yusuf alayhi salam, then why cannot the very same example be used for Ummati Mustafa? Ummati Mustafa. Allah. And then we know that on this particular day, Yawm Ashura, was the martyrdom of Imam Adil Shahzad, Nawasai Rasul, Imam Hussein ibn Haidar radiyallahu ta'ala. Where does one begin? Imam Suyuti mentioned the Tarikh al-Khulafa, words to the effect of, ये जो वाक़या करबला है ना, ये बहुत तवील वाक़या है. You won't find this वाक़या in his particular, yani in its entirety, in his Tarikh al-Khulafa. And they write that this particular वाक़या not only is a long, lengthy narration, but also the heart simply cannot express what happened on that day. वैसे हर साल, और ये मेरा अपना opinion है, हर साल we do ज़िक्र हुसैन. क्या? We do ज़िक्र हुसैन. और इसमें कोई शक नहीं, हमारा जीना मरना ज़िक्र हुसैन. We are those individuals who say Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. लेकिन 2017 में ज़रूरत है not just ज़िक्र हुसैन but फ़िक्र हुसैन. हर साल सिर्फ ये वाक़या बयान करना, हर साल इस तरीके से मुकर्रिरीन खुम और इस किस्म से it's mentioned as well. Ibn Abidin Ash-Shami's son, he mentions that لا يجوز ذكر المقتل في أيام عاشوراء لأن ذلك من شعائر الروافد. They go, it is not permissible on the day of Ashura to mention the waqia of the martyrdom of Imam Adil Shahzad. لا يجوز ذكر المقتل في أيام عاشوراء. Why? لأن ذلك من شعائر أو شعار الروافد. They go, the reason why we don't mention this is because this is the practice of the Rawafid. Rawafid, you understand who they are? Shia Hazrat. They go, this is why we don't mention. Because people start to go down the route of lamentation, garif, pitna, rona, sab kuch. Rona to वैसे सुन्नत रसूल है, इसमें कोई शक नहीं. लेकिन we have certain mukarririn without mentioning names, who in the very beautiful and haseen way will mention Waqia Karbala, or awam mashallah will listen, but often with awam, al-awam kal-anam. Awam is like cattle, Arabic proverb. Awam is like cattle, whichever direction you take them they will go. Or awam, often what you tell them in through one ear, out of the other. Pir Alauddin Siddiqui Shaykh al-Alam Rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi, once we were sat in the majlis, in their sohbat, and they go that ulama, mukhatab towards the ulama, they go, you should tell the awam that when you are doing a bayan, rather than to sit in there looking around, kada phone par lage huए, kada bahar jane ji, aur kuch karne jo kuch hi hai, rather than to sit in there and looking at Maulvi Sahab ke liye jaan chhod san, so we can have langar. Shaykh al-Alam would say that tell the awam to take one hand and place it on one of their ears. What will this do? This will allow them to retain the knowledge that you're giving them. Why? Knowledge will go in and it will stay in. It won't go back out again. So gal ye hai, ye bahut taweel waqia hai. I'm not going to go through that waqia. I have 7 minutes, 8 minutes left. I just want to touch upon the lessons that we can learn from Karbala. The first hissa of my mawzu was in relation to the greatness of this day of Ashura. This is the second part, very quickly. The lessons that we can learn from Karbala. No doubt there are many lessons, many different asbab that we can learn from Waqia Karbala. One particular lesson that stands out is ta'muruna bil ma'roof wa tanhawna 'anil munkar. Yani ordering good and forbidding evil. On one side, we have the greatness and the excellence And the virtues of Imam Ali Maqam, Imam Hussain ibn Ali radiyallahu ta'ala. Al-Hasanu wal-Husainu Sayyida Shababi Ahli Jannah. Or kama qala alayhi salam. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, Hassan and Hussain, the true flowers of Batul Jannat Fatimatu Zahra. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, Hassan and Hussain, they are the leaders of the youth of Jannatul Firdaus. Imam Hussain, who never did qaza of a salah. And I will say with this dawah, Imam Hussain never did qaza of a single salah. Al-Batta on Yom Ashura, on the day of the 10th of Muharram, the Fajr Salah, he led us on Maidan Karbala. He led the Salah on Maidan Karbala. You know, Imam Hussain never missed his Salah. Ta'muruna bil ma'ruf. So on one side we have Imam Hussain and the purity of Imam Hussain and the purity of the nasab, the family, the gharana of Imam Hussain. Teri nasle पाक में है, बच्चा बच्चा नूर का, तू है आईने नूर, तेरा सब घराना। एक तरफ हुसैनियत, और ये भी एक पॉइंट है, this वाक़या करबला wasn't between two personalities. आजकल लोग शरारत करने जी, this was a dispute between two sabzadagan, two sabzade, two sons, one the son of Haidar, Yani Sayyidina Ali Murtaza, Mulai Kainat, Mulai Kul, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. The other, the son of Jalil Qadr Sahabi Amir Muawiyah. And this was a dispute and a fight, a vakia that happened between two sabzadagan. Ye galt hai. This is wrong. This was not a dispute between two personalities, two individuals. Rather, this was a dispute between haqq and batil. This was a dispute between Husainiyat and Yazidiyat. Two ideologies. Dispute is a very strong word. But this is what it was. Imam Hussain not giving his hand in the hand of Yazid was simply to stand up against the tyranny of not just Yazid, but what Yazid stood for as well. So on one side we have Hussain ibn Haidar radiyallahu ta'ala anhuma. On the other side we have Yazid rahmatullah alayhi. Or Yazid's characteristics are well known, very well portrayed in the books of history. Tarikh Islam of Imam Zahabi, Tarikh Tabari of Imam Muhammad Jarir al-Tabari, Al-Bidayah wa Nihaya of Hafiz ibn Kathir. Study these books and you'll find the, not necessarily characteristics, but the evil moral compass of Yazid. An individual who was offensive, who was rude, who was non-practicing, an individual who indulged in sinful behavior, who married women along with their mothers, their daughters and sisters, an individual who drank alcohol, an individual who did not perform the salah, or when he did come for the salah to lead them, he was in a state of drunkenness. Yazid, who was not just responsible for Waqia Karbala and the shahadat of Imam Hussain, but also responsible for 3 days musalsal adhan not being called in Masjid al-Nabi Sharif. Yazid also responsible for the martyrdom of 700 Sahaba Ikram and over 1,000 Tabi'een. Yazid, who was responsible with the intention of burning the Ghilaf of the Kaaba. Ajkal we try to justify his actions. Ajkal we have people, and hamare log, sade log get very quickly impressed by these people. Oh, he must be right. He's quoting from the Quran. Surah number 6, verse number 17. The ye nahi pata what he's saying. This very same individual who I'm doing ishara towards. And ishara is enough for insan. And this is wazit. From the beginning of kainat, we have 2 groups. One group which is upon haqq, the other group which is upon batil. ये कोई मामूली चीज नहीं ना. Today हमारे लोग सीधे साधे लोग, हम तो बस we don't want to say anything to anyone. किसी बंदे की परेशान ना करने चाहे. We don't want to be those who label other people. हम तो सीधे साधे सुन्नी हैं. हम तो सीधे साधे सुन्नी हैं. That means that those who came before you like Data Ali Hujweri वो डिंगे थे. तू सीधा साधा है. वो डिंगे थे. They didn't know what was right or wrong. Allahu Akbar. What I'm trying to say, this is come back to my key point, which is a theme throughout the topic today, the subject matter today, the bayan today, that preserve your aqidah. Do not compromise your aqidah. قُلْ جَاءَ الْحَقُّ وَزَهَقَ الْبَاطِلِ إِنَّ الْبَاطِلَ كَانَ. haq or batil. We need to know. वो भी नमाज पढ़ने थे. Lashkar Yazid, 18,000 in one narration, 20,000 in another narration, 23,000 in another narration. वो भी नमाज पढ़ने थे ना. They were reading namaz. वो भी अजान करने थे. They were doing the adhan. So फर्क क्या था? फर्क यह था that this was the adhan of Yazid and his followers. The namaz of his followers. This was the adhan of Imam Hussein. This was the namaz of Imam Hussein. If Islam was just based upon Zahir A'mal, then why was it that Lashkar Yazid and his followers, why wasn't it that they were on right as well? Kabhi kabhi socho na. Both parties reading salah, both parties doing the adhan, both parties doing what is expected of them in terms of ahkam shar'iyya, but there is a difference. One is following the way of Yazidiyat, the other is following the way of Husseyniyat. Husseyniyat is what? Upholding the Sharia. Husseyniyat is what? Ta'muruna bil ma'ruf wa tanhawna 'anil munkar. Husseyniyat is what? Sacrifice, qurbani for Deen Islam. Husseyniyat is what? Ikhlas, sincerity for Deen Islam. Husseyniyat is what? Standing up against tyranny and injustice and oppression. Husseyniyat is what? Having compassion towards your enemies. Husseyniyat is what? Struggling for change and inqilab. Husseyniyat is what? Highlighting the importance of prayer. Husseyniyat is what? Khawf-e ilahi, or crying in the court of Allah Almighty. Husseyniyat is what? Loyalty to Quran and Sunnah. Husseyniyat is what? Seeking the pleasure of Allah Almighty and His rida. Husseyniyat is what? Seeking the pleasure of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Husseyniyat is what? Doing sabr. Doing sabr. One by one he is watching and seeing and witnessing his family members, children, Ali Akbar, Ali Asghar, all of these individuals from his noble family, Gharana of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One by one he is seeing that they have given their life in order to defend the deen of his Nana Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. लेकिन उसके बावजूद सब्र. ऐसे थोड़ी जी तकलीफ हुई वाह गुस्सा कर रहा है. थोड़ी जी तकलीफ ही बर्दाश्त नहीं होती. Little bit of test or problem इस तरीके ना इम्तिहान from Allah तबारक व तआला बर्दाश्त ही कोनी ना. Before you begin to utter words of ingratitude and injustice and do not shukri to Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala, stop for a moment and think. Imam Hussein was that individual who one by one saw his family members give their lives, fall to their martyrdom in order to protect the religion of his grandfather, his Nana Jan Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But you will never find in any book of history, any book of tarikh, that Imam Hussein ever uttered any words of injustice or ingratitude. ये है सब्र का पैगाम, सब्र का सबक, सब्र का सबक. The lesson of patience. Allahu Akbar. Husseyniyat is what? The true Husseyniyat, we understand that haqq is only and only by Quran and Sunnah. Going back to that point, mera time hi koni, and I'm somebody who only gets into third gear after half an hour. Despite the heat in here, मैं भी रोजा है, आपको भी रोजा है, हम सब देख रहे हो संकेला जान छोड़ सन और भी हम ही रोजा खोला. लेकिन अल्लाह हक is not measured by numbers, my brother. आजकल लोग कहने जी इमाम साहब फलाने फलाने पीर के खिलाफ बोलने जी, फलाने फलाने पीर के खिलाफ बोलने जी, तो उस पीर साहब के बड़े what you call it followers and hundreds and thousands come and take dam from him and take ta'weez from him, take guidance from him. And I'm not going to say something, they're recording me. खतरा है आजकल, कोई ना कोई रिकॉर्डिंग लोग एडिट करी और से बस जी इमाम आदिल अगेंस्ट है, सुचन सुच है, बलावरा शी का पीर हो बला बेटी है. हम तो ना डरने, हक इज हक, राइट इज राइट. लोग कहने जी इमाम साहब बस को एक ही पट्टी परी दिया ने जी, पीरा ने खिलाफ और खास तौर 2 नंबर जाहिल पीरा ने खिलाफ. Simple is what? That these jahil 2 number peer who we seem to put a lot of trust into. हमारे अवाम अहले सुन्नत सीधे साधे लोग हैं, खास तौर मीरपुरी लोग सीधे साधे लोग हैं. बस जी he must be right. His father was great, his grandfather was great. ना कोई सुन्नत, ना कोई सीरत, ना कोई इस तरीके नाल शमाइल मुस्तफा, कुछ का भी नहीं, ना जाहिर ना बातिन. बस जी पीर साहब ना कोई इस तरीके ना फायदा लेना है. क्यों? Why are we dependent upon a certain individual? When we have the Quran, when we have the Sunnah, we have ulama haq, why should we then run to people? Log pareshan ho jane ji. Allahu Akbar. Is par aakhri guftagu. I've said this many times in my bayanat before, that for you and me the Quran is sufficient. For you and me the Sunnah is sufficient. For you and me the way and the life and the sacrifices of Imam Hussein are sufficient. وَنُنَزِّلُ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ مَا هُوَ شِفَاءٌ وَرَحْمَةٌ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. This Quran is a shifa. This Quran is a barakah and healing. Imam Suyuti again mentioned that if a mu'min reads one verse of the Quran with yaqeen, शर्त क्या है? यकीन. वैसे अपनी ज़बान मीठ पड़ी विच कह रहे हैं यकीन बड़ा है या पीर बड़ा है? तो आजकल पीर बड़ा है जी, यकीन मुक गया जी, पीर ही बड़ा है. लेकिन इमाम सुयूती says what? ये इमाम सुयूती की बात है ना, मुजद्दिद of his दौर और ज़माना. चलो, you might not take consideration of my words, but at least take considerations of the words of Imam Suyuti. आखिरी जुमला, Imam Suyuti says that person who reads one ayat of the Quran with yaqeen, with conviction, with sincerity, then through reading that one verse of the Quran, the mountains will shatter into pieces. لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله. Yaqeen. And this is Fikr Hussein. This is the message of Imam Hussein. This is the sacrifice that Imam Hussein made. Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala allow us to understand and allow us to implement and act upon this message of Imam Hussein. وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ.